Welcome to Encompass Purpose with Berg, a show about topics people try to avoid: change, accountability, Christianity, business, and family. Discipleship and loving thy neighbor are not suggestions. There's never been a time when the truth is more needed. So here's your host, Bradley Berg.
And it's going to be with Chip and Rebecca. We're going to talk with them about what they're doing. And it helps put flesh on the bones. It's like, okay, so you hear the principles, you hear those principles that we talk about, but then Chip and Rebecca are people who are doing something with those. That's the right thing to do in Iberia, and it's the right thing to do for them. And they're not just copying somebody else. And so anyway, so we've talked to people like Alan Hirsch, Mark Batterson, people that you've heard of, but we've also talked to Cole Yoakum, who was as a kid about 10 years ago. He's 20, I think he just graduated from college and wanted to go live in a hard scrabble community and help people follow Jesus. So he moved to Pontiac, Michigan, which is like a small version of Detroit. It's just got all kinds of messed up stuff going on. Moved into a house where all of the copper had been stolen out of the house, the wiring, the piping, it was just stripped out. He actually found out that this guy standing in front of the house was the guy that stole all the copper out of his house. And so he said, well, would you help me put it back in? And the guy said, sure, I'll help you put it back in. And what Cole found out was the guy was better at taking it out than he was at putting it in. But anyway, that was 10 years ago. They just moved in there with the idea of let's see how we can help people follow Jesus here. Fast forward now, there's a church, there's a community center. They're working on finalizing the build out of a $15 million community center that serves the people in that community in partnership with the city government and the neighborhood and everything else. It's an amazing story. Nobody's ever heard of Cole Yoakum, but you can hear about it. And things that he's done are going to be inspiring to people. So that's what this platform is about. That's what this Next Wave community is about. So like I said earlier, if somebody's interested, and full disclosure and heads up, it is a subscription based community. So what that means is you're not going to get advertised to, you're not going to get stalked, but we are asking you to contribute. We've spent a lot of money building out this community and creating it. And so we just ask people to contribute. So it's $20 a month to be part of the community. But what you get for that is connectivity to a rapidly growing number of people. We just added like 10 people in the last week. And in fact, after I get off this call, I'm meeting with another leader that I think is going to result in some more people coming into this conversation. It's like we're all finding ourselves, and we've created a great place for that to happen. So if that sounds interesting to you, if you're a listener today or a viewer, or whatever you are, go to Next Wave Community, Next Wave, one word, dot community, one word. That's it. Just nextwave.community. And you'll be able to buy the book if you want to. You'll be able to join the community. I think I need to say this carefully, but I think right now there's a deal where if you join the community, we'll send you a book. I think there's a way to get that if you want it, but they change the deal sometimes, so I'm not sure what it is, but there you have it.
So that's and like I said, I'm looking so forward, especially after this conversation, to the book. Can the book be found everywhere too then? I know I got mine off of Amazon. So
yeah, it's on. I think it's on any. You do a search on anything. We put it out there at all the different outlets, including Amazon, but there's other ones too. I forget what they're called, but anyway, you can find it anywhere. If you buy it through that link that I shared, I think you save a little bit of money. I know Amazon, they're always playing around with, you get the free shipping and stuff. I think we do have to add shipping, but I think even with the shipping added, it's still about the same. So anyway, we don't, whatever way is easiest for you, go for it. So it's available, should be available through your favorite outlet. And if it's not, just go to Amazon or just go to nextwave.community and you can get it.
sounds good. Hey, do you want to one more time just give all the information for your site and everything, so people can, if they didn't have a pen the first time?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So for, the thing that kind of got this all rolling is this book, Next Wave, Discovering the 21st Century Church. Alan Hirsch wrote the foreword. Alan is a friend. And, if you're a person who values what Alan thinks, he thinks we're on the right track. So that's why he was willing to write the foreword. But yeah, so that, and like we just said, that is available in any outlet that you typically get your books from. You can do a search and find it. Just type in that title, type in my name, Steve Pike. And then if you are interested in knowing more, and also this is another place you can buy the book, you go to nextwave.community. Just that's it. All you have to put in is nextwave.community, and that will bring up a website, a landing page, they call it, that actually has all of those 12 shifts listed out there. There's and that will give you access. So just like now I don't even know if you know this yet, Brad, but on the community, we've been going through each of the shifts one at a time for a month. So the theme for each month, starting last year in December, the theme for each month has been one of the 12 shifts. So we're almost finished. We're getting ready. We're headed into November. We're going to be doing shift number 12. And, but every time we do that, in the Next Wave community platform, there's a topic option. You hit the topic option, and you can actually see the 12 shifts, and you click on that, and articles, videos, everything that has to do with each one of these shifts is listed there. And so and we're continually adding new content, and then as new people come on, we want this to be a learning community. So I'm not the only person who knows things. There's a lot of great knowledge that's out there. And so this is a place where, again, Brad, you're a practitioner. You're somebody who's learning. We want you to bring I know you've got a lot of things that you're involved in that your listeners probably know about. And we welcome you to make that known to the people in the community, because it may be that there's people in the community who go, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So we want this to be a place where people are sharing with each other. There's actually a direct message function. So if people find out about what Brad's doing with Encompass, the coaching and the things that you're doing, they can actually reach out to you directly through the platform. And so it's really a dynamic site, and people are figuring that out. And so if you want to get on the ground floor, now's a good time to get in, because it's, as they say somewhere, it's fixing to take off.
They probably say that around here. So
I think they might.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna put some input in, because one thing, I have the businesses in Iberia, but then the church in Tuscumbia, and I work a lot in the Lake Ozarks, and I'm trying to figure out, I want to brainstorm with some people how to be a mobile disciple, to really do that.
You can definitely, one of the cool things is you can actually, you were one of the people who did a good job of this. Not everybody has done this. We encourage people, when they come on, there's a little place you can kind of fill out your information. And that's designed so you can go look at people's cards. Unfortunately, not everybody does it, and we don't put a gun to people's heads, but you can look at some of the cards, and maybe you'll see somebody. I call them cards. It's like your profile page, but you can actually look at a member, click on their profile. It pops up Brad and tells about Brad, whatever he wants us to know. And so you might find Brad, somebody else on there that you go, wait, this is somebody that I think I can learn from. And you can just reach out to him and say, hey, we're both on this platform. So that's how it works. And so, like I say, the beauty of it is you can go as deep, you can get as much out of it as you want, or you can just be a lurker and just kind of watch everybody else talk. And we have a lot of people doing that. I don't think they're bad people. What's fun to me is I get notes all the time from people that I thought were I didn't even think they were paying any attention. And they'll say, man, this article or this conversation you just have with somebody just changed my life, and I'm grateful for that. And I know that wouldn't have happened if they hadn't been on the platform and we hadn't created this space. and it really is a unique space. There's nothing else like it out there that I'm aware of. And so I hope that people that are watching this will give it a try. Check it out.
Yeah, and I found a lot of good information, and then your interviews.
Yeah.
Like your one with Rule, and of course they're
Yeah.
associated with Convoy of Hope, and a lot of people know of that but don't know what they are. So now they do. So
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and like I said, we're doing number 60. So there's all, by next week I can legitimately say we'll have 60 hours of. These are really interesting interviews. Hugh Halter was one of the guys we interviewed. You go back through the list, and like I said, that Cole Yoakum guy, other just people you've never heard of that are doing amazing things. So maybe we can have you on there, Brad, at some point.
well, if you want, once I edit this, we can you can feel free to use it too.
we can make it part of the resource for everybody. Absolutely. Yeah. So
well, I really appreciate you being on again.
Hey, thank you for having me. What a great time. It's good to get to know you a little bit more. And man, I love, as I'm getting to know more about what you're doing, again, it's so fun to discover, man, this is something God's doing. This is not, just an isolated thing. There's all these folks out there, and you're one of them, that are really trying to help the church be effective in this 21st century culture. And thanks for doing that. And thanks for joining this community and sharing what you're learning with us, and then gleaning from us what will help you do a better job of what you're doing. So thanks for having me.
I hate to say the pandemic created a great thing, but I think in a way it did. With
Well,
our classes and everything else, we're willing to travel to anybody's churches and help them with, to make disciples. It's not about our Sunday service. God's MO is he takes tragedy and turns it into triumph. I mean, that's just the way he operates. And so, COVID is kind of this slow moving tragedy that completely disrupted the church. And, everybody's still trying to figure out what the long-term results are going to be. But you're right. I think for people who were able to see past the tragedy, there's so much opportunity that's been created, and I think the church is going to be moving into the nooks and crannies of culture in a way that it just wasn't able to do before, because it was sort of stuck in this one modality, this one way of doing things. And now we're giving legitimacy to people who used to feel like, I'm a misunderstood outcast. Now they're becoming the people who are showing us all the way into the future. And so that's what this group, that's another purpose for this online community, is to be a real-time learning community of practicing peers who are discovering the 21st century church together and learning from each other in real time. So, and I know you probably got to go, but one thing I would like to mention to people, especially with the online presence, I don't think it matters if you're a new Christian or a pastor, or, what you're doing with your Next Wave site. You'll get a lot out of it. It'll help you move to the next step.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. It's not really, I think it's broad enough that anybody can benefit from it. So absolutely give it a try. The cool thing is you can sign up for 1 month and try it and say, yeah, it's great, or isn't scratching the itch, so it's not like you're getting into some kind. I mean, we do have options. It's a little less expensive if you want to just go ahead and pay for a year. I think it's $180 for a year, which is whatever, 25% off or something like that. So I've had people do both, and I've had people sign up for a month, and then they go, I just want to sign up for the rest of it and they go ahead and go for a year. And other people just sign up for a month and we never see them again. So we just want it, if it's something that's helpful, to you, then great. If it's not, then we're not here to put anybody on a guilt trip, and we don't think we're the only people that have a corner on stuff. But what makes it really valuable and unique is the engagement, is the conversation going on between people, and is the encouragement to do what you just talked about doing, Brad, reaching out to other people and letting them help you brainstorm. You're going to find people that don't look at you sideways like, what in the world are you talking about? I don't understand this. They're going, oh, you want to do a micro church, you want to do a home church, you want to do a coffee shop, all those things. People on this platform are like, okay, yeah. We actually had a guy doing a church that is on Twitch, which I don't even know what Twitch is. It's some kind of online gaming platform. And then he does, I forget how but he's on Twitch and Discord, which are two social networking and gaming sites or something that I don't know anything about. But he started describing how disciples are being made on these online platforms. And man, it's really hard to argue that that's not a legitimate expression of the church. And a lot of people, before these churches were trying to do that, people were saying, well, you can't really do that. It has to be all physical and people have to be in the same room at the same time and stuff like that. And these guys, increasing number of leaders, are showing not really. We're seeing people come to Jesus and get set free from being addicted to alcohol and drugs and all kinds of stuff. And it sounds like the real church to me. They're getting baptized, they're having communion. So there's all these different things. And just because a totally online church is viable doesn't mean we all have to do that. I was on a call yesterday with a group of practitioners, and a couple of them were these online people, and then this lady was there and she said, I don't do anything online except what I have to do. She said, we're all face to face, but I'm not opposed to you. And they said, well, we're not opposed to you. In fact, we're trying to figure out how to bring people together face to face that are in the same city. We're reaching people all over the world. And so, there, like you said, this is a new day, and part of the new day is that ecosystem thing where we actually recognize there's value in these other movements. You don't have to stop being what you are. I mean, if you're Pentecostal or you're Baptistical or whatever, you don't have to stop being that to be able to benefit from the things that everybody's learning, and that's what this is as I say, a curated community. Next Wave community is a curated, which means, it's not just a happenstance thing. There's purpose and there's intention and there's a direction to it. And if you want to be part of that, we'd love to have you. So
I really appreciate it again so much. So
good. All right. Hey, Brad, I do need to go. I've got another appointment coming up here. And thanks for letting me be part of this. And man, look forward to seeing maybe some of your people. In fact, I'll just say this: we do have side groups that let's talk about you doing a side group, because I've got a deal that you can't refuse. It's a great opportunity. So whenever you stop the recording, I don't want to ask you publicly, because you might not want all your listeners to know what we're talking about.
One second here.
Okay.
Brad Berg here with Encompass Purpose, and we just got done with that interview, and I did finally get my book. I'm about halfway through it. It's really incredible. I'd really recommend it for everybody. One thing I'm finding, there's been this movement over a decade of churches going back to more scripture-based, less entertainment, less inspirational speaking, and back to scripture. And, books like this, Next Wave, Steve has taken a lot of the work out of it for you because he had to do it. There's another book I'm reading, Saturation. I don't have in front of me, but he's been doing it for decades. There's another book here, if I can find it. It is called The Church Project. And that book is just a terrific one too. Again, they've been doing it, so instead of having to reinvent the wheel, the whole church movement that's happening right now, you can use some of the people that have already done this for us. You know, it about 100 years ago, church started to really change. For 1800 years, it was totally different. For thousands of years. So over the years, the last 100 years, man has made the church more the way they want it and kept changing it until we got to the point where we had fog shows and light shows and uh, entertainment instead of the gospel every week. And got to be these huge nonprofit organizations. And that's not what the church is about. The church isn't about getting together for 1 hour a week and hundreds or thousands of people going there, listening to a motivational speech, and then leaving for the week. Christianity is where you learn every day. You start with a prayer, then you learn every day from that point. It's not that you get born again and then you get a free ticket to heaven. That's not how it works. You go and you learn every day from the scripture, and you should have a church and people around you that help you grow. And it should be scripture based, and it has to be scripture based. Or you get what we've got the last 100 years, and now there's a huge movement because a lot of people that are aligned with scripture are seeing that, and the church is changing very rapidly now. There's always going to be the entertainers and the churches and the pay to pray places, but it really is changing very quickly. So another book I would highly recommend, and we're teaching this class, is Radical. We're teaching this starting this month. So I would really recommend this. It talks about being more of a scriptural based Christian rather than what developed in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, especially. So we will be starting in January this one, Radical Together. It's just another extension of that one. We'll be starting these also. It's the 3 circles. It's a great, easy way to disciple. And all these courses are at no charge, and they're available to you no matter what church you go to. That doesn't matter to us at all. We just want, if we can help you develop your relationship and deepen your relationship with God, that's what we're after. So we offer these classes at no charge. You can come and take them and go back to your regular church. That's fine by us. Um, then we have a Bible study one that will be coming up, and that goes through the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelations. And it's just a great explanation of the Bible. So whether you're new to this or you've been around it for 40 years and just want to refresh or just want to hear it again, it's a great Bible study for that. Starting Point, that's a pretty well known one. And what that is where you can ask questions you've had. And it's a starting point to learn more about the scripture and Jesus. It's a really great course. It's been taken by tens of thousands of people. And we'll be teaching that in November. Who's Your One we are doing right before our Sunday service, so at 9 o'clock on Sundays. But what that one is another discipleship course where you pick out one person that you're going to pray for and that you're going to talk to about Jesus. And that's why it's called Who's Your One. And so then you can work on that. And all these are kind of relationship based so that it's not like a format, it's not a pitch, it's not anything salesy about it. It's just a casual conversation you can have with people about God. And then on November 20th, we're having Machine Gun Preacher. And hopefully you've seen the movie. If you haven't, just go ahead and punch that into Google. He's going to come up. Sam Childers, he's done quite a bit of stuff. And they're actually doing a second movie on him now. but he feeds thousands of people a day, and he's created schools and orphanages and hospitals over in the Sudan. And it's just a real incredible, powerful, and moving story. And you'll get to meet him on November 20th at 4 o'clock. We, of course, do have services at 10 o'clock on Sunday also. And then we'll be having some other interviews coming up. We just got done off the phone with Three Circles and Jim. And then we have also Brian DeCook with Peace Fire. That's a Two Fires course we're doing. And the Two Fires course is conflict resolution, Jesus based conflict resolution. And then we're also doing self development so that you have to do God's will, but you also have to get off the couch. So we help you with that part of your life so you can accelerate and get going on different things. And so whether it be life skills or scripture skills or learning to live and disciple more, we're trying to cover all the things just so you can deepen and strengthen your relationship with God. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time. Visit us on Facebook at Encompass Purpose Radio.